All right, today we're going to tackle one of the biggest mysteries out there, consciousness itself. We're going to explore this really cool idea that it's not just one single thing, but actually a whole series of unfolding layers. I mean, it's the most fundamental question there is, right? Why does it feel like anything to be you? We can map the entire known universe. We can stick probes in a brain and measure every last neuron firing, but we still don't get this one simple, profound thing. Why is there a you in there, a little person inside your head, actually experiencing the story of your life? And this is where things get really fascinating. You see, thinkers from all over the place, and I mean throughout history, we're talking philosophers, mystics, even modern scientists, they've all kind of bumped up against the same conclusion. What we call consciousness isn't as simple as it seems. It seems to operate on different levels. And trust me, the deeper you go, the weirder it gets. So let's start with the foundation, right? The 3 states of consciousness that literally all of us cycle through every single day. These are the worlds we know best, even if we almost never stop to actually think about them. Okay, so we're gonna start with the deepest state and kind of work our way up. First up, we've got deep sleep, that total void we fall into every night. Then comes dreaming, which is really the first world our mind actually creates for itself. And finally, we'll hit waking consciousness, the state where we spend most of our time. Level 1, this might be the most mysterious state of all when you really think about it. Every single night, we just willingly slip past the edge of everything right into this emptiness that's so total, so complete, that the you, the world, even the idea of emptiness itself just vanishes. It's like a temporary annihilation. But here's the crazy part. There's no suffering. There's no fear. It's just gone. So you can look at this in 2 ways. On one hand, you've got neuroscience, which calls this the delta wave state. It's basically a super important maintenance cycle for the brain and body. But on the other hand, philosophically, it's often described as awareness just folding back into its source, kind of like a wave returning to the ocean. And that brings up a wild paradox. Something in there must be aware that nothing is happening, because if not, we'd wake up every single morning totally disoriented with no idea who or what we are. Okay, so as we start to rise up from that absolute void, consciousness performs its first big act of creation, and that, of course, is the dream state. Now, in this place, reality is completely self-generated. Your senses are switched off, your body's basically paralyzed, but inside the theater of your mind, wow, entire universes can be born and then dissolved in just a few moments. And this points to a really uncanny truth about dreaming, doesn't it? You are the laws of physics in your dream. You're the architect. You're the one writing every single word that gets spoken. You build this whole world, then you conveniently forget that you're the one who built it, and you just wander through it as a character. It just goes to show you the absolutely incredible creative power of consciousness. And all of that brings us to level 3, good old waking life. This is the state where our mind and our senses team up to produce what we all agree to call reality. It's like this grand orchestra of awareness, a shared experience that feels so solid, so incredibly persistent, that we almost never even think to question it. But how real is it? See, our brain doesn't just record reality like a video camera, it renders it. The thinker Donald Hoffman has this great analogy. He calls our perception a user interface. Think about it. The icons on your computer screen aren't the complex code and electricity running underneath. They're just useful symbols that let you get things done. In the same way, what we see isn't the actual complicated truth of reality, it's a simplified version built for one thing, survival. So waking life might not be the opposite of a dream, it might just be the most stable shared dream we all happen to be having. Now, for most people, this cycle of waking, dreaming, and deep sleep, well, that's pretty much the whole story. But it turns out there are other layers, deeper dimensions, and they only start to reveal themselves when that constant chatter in your head finally goes quiet and your attention turns inward for a change. Yeah, we all know this one, right? I think, therefore I am. This single sentence pretty much became the bedrock of Western philosophy. It directly connects our existence, our very being, with our ability to think. That inner monologue we all have, we assume that's who we are. But what if that's not the whole picture? This next question is the gateway to everything that follows. What happens when the thinking stops, but that feeling of I am is still there? What is that pure sense of being, without any thoughts attached to it? Well, that is level 4, what's known as transcendental consciousness. It's a state of pure, silent awareness that is just aware of itself. The mind goes completely still. And in that incredible inner silence, the observer has a huge realization. They are not their thoughts. They're the silent, empty space in which all those thoughts appear. Okay, so once you've found this inner silence, what happens next? Is that the end of the road? Not even close. The journey continues, because that inner stillness doesn't just have to be something you find during meditation. It can actually start to merge with the outside world. And when it does, it transforms absolutely everything you experience. This brings us to level 5, often called the witness state. What happens here is that deep, unmoving stillness you found in level 4, it just stays with you all day long. You can still think, you can act, you can feel all the emotions, but underneath all of that, there's this unbroken, calm awareness that's just observing. It's like you're both living the story of your life and watching it unfold at the exact same time. So then, in level 6, that detached kind of neutral witness starts to change. The silent observer begins to feel this incredibly intimate, loving connection to everything it sees. That tree outside your window is no longer just a tree. It feels deeply alive, like it's radiating this quiet divinity. Your very perception of the world becomes sacred. And this is such a crucial point. Love is no longer just an emotion that you feel about the world. It actually becomes the lens through which you see the world. Compassion isn't something you have to try to feel, it's just effortless, because you perceive everything and everyone around you as a literal extension of your own being. So this whole journey has really been about slowly peeling back the layers, right? Dissolving boundaries. And now we get to the final level, the one where all distinctions, every last bit of separation just completely melts away. So you can see this beautiful progression, right? It shows exactly how that boundary between you and the world slowly dissolves. In level 4, awareness is just watching your thoughts. In 5, it's watching the whole world. In 6, it starts to love the world. And then finally, in level 7, that boundary is just gone. Awareness is the world. This is it, the peak state, unity consciousness. Here, there's no more you looking out at a separate world. There's just one single, seamless field of being. You could say the universe is finally knowing itself through your eyes, and you are knowing yourself as the universe. The seeker, the journey, the destination, it all dissolves into one. So after exploring this whole incredible journey, from the absolute void of deep sleep all the way to the totality of unity, it brings up a really provocative thought. We tend to think of this as a ladder, right? Something we have to climb to get to a higher state. But what if it's not a ladder at all? What if it's actually a circle? What if it's a journey back to a source that, in reality, we never even left? And maybe that's the ultimate idea to leave you with, that consciousness isn't something out there that we need to go find, or some state we have to achieve. It's not the prize at the end of a long, hard journey. Maybe, just maybe, it's the fundamental reality that has been quietly, patiently, and lovingly looking out through our eyes this entire time.